We have plenty of examples of excessively private celebrity spouses. Some are private to the extent that it is next to impossible to derive any information about them. One such celebrity spouse is Sherrill Sajak. Sherrill Sajak is the ex-wife of the famous Wheel of Fortune host, Pat Sajak. The couple didn't attract too much attention while they were together. And, when they finally split, Sherrill Sajak surprisingly went off the highlight completely. Many thought that Sherrill would have remained in the spotlight. Her then-husband was gaining massive popularity at the time of their split. It turns out, the ex-spouse of Pat Sajak is impressively private. Sherrill Sajak married Pat Sajak when he was still struggling to fit into the entertainment world. Their marriage did not last long. A few years after their separation, Sherrill's husband tied the knot for the second time. Details on Sherrill's life after divorce are, however, under wraps. Despite the privacy, we have tried to find some relevant information about her. Sherrill James Sajak was born in 1945 in the United States of America. Besides her birth year, the exact details of her birth are unknown to this date. As per the internet sources, her middle name from her birth is James. Other information about her parents, childhood, and education details are missing. She is running in the 75th year of her age. In this way, we can confirm at least one thing: Sherrill was not famous before she married her ex-husband. She lived her life beyond the limelight since her childhood. So, it must have been easier for her to do so even after her divorce. Had Sherrill Sajak been under the radar of the mainstream spotlight, it would have been easier to find out the facts on her personality as well. Unfortunately, the ex-wife of the popular show, Wheels of Fortune, host turned out to be a very private person. If her absence from the media and spotlight does not tell us that she is reluctant towards fame, then what does? It is very commendable for her to be able to stay hidden from the media for so long. Especially, as she is related to a celebrity, it looks quite impressive. When Sherrill was still married, she gathered a lot of fame as the wife of Pat Sajak. But before the marriage between the two, not even Pat was very famous. Hence, recognition was surely not a solid reason for them to get married. Sherrill met her ex-husband Pat Sajak when he was struggling to make a name. They first met in 1978 in Nashville, Tennessee. After dating for less than a year, the couple secretly got married in 1979. No pictures and not even a small detail of their wedding circulated the internet. Maybe the reason could be that none of them were famous enough for significant media attention at that time. The marriage turned out to be in favor of Pat Sajak's professional life. He found his way to the television screen soon after his wedding with Sherrill. His road to fame began after Merv Griffin asked him to host the game show, Wheel of Fortune, in 1981. Merv Griffin was hosting the show back then. After 2 years, in 1983, Pat started hosting the popular game show. Around that time, Sherrill and Pat had already begun seeing trouble in their paradise. The couple could not handle the continuous pressure of fame. So, the couple when Pat's career was on the rise. Sherrill and Pat ended their marriage with a divorce in 1986, after 7 years of togetherness. The story of their separation was as secretive as that of their union. It could have been one of the most silent divorces in history. There was no drama and no publicity. Sherrill had no desire and greed for fame. She silently moved out of her marriage and puff. She disappeared completely. Only her family and close ones know where she is today. Her life after her divorce is under wraps. Her ex-husband, on the other hand, married Leslie Brown Sajak after the divorce. Pat married Leslie in 1989. Pat and his wife, Leslie, are still going strong after 30 years of marriage. Because Sherrill leads a very private life, we have no information regarding her offspring. Sherrill has no children from her ex-husband, Pat Sajak. Many say that not having any child led to a rather easy divorce for the former couple. Even though we have no idea about Sherrill's family life after divorce, we know that her ex-husband has a beautiful family. He has 2 children from her second marriage, Patrick Michael James Sajak, born September 22, 1990, and a daughter, Maggie Marie Sajak, born January 5, 1995. His daughter, Maggie, is an American country music singer. Pat Sajak, 73, is originally from Chicago, Illinois. He currently lives in Severna Park, Maryland, with his wife. Pat is most known for his endeavors through the American game show, Wheel of Fortune. Before landing on the show in 1983 as a host, he worked as a full-time weatherman at KNBC TV. Going on to become a weatherman became a fortunate thing for him. He came into the notice of Merv Griffin in 1981. Merv, who was hosting the show at that time, proposed Pat to get into the role. But the president of NBC of that time did not trust Pat could handle the pressure of being on such a big show. So Pat finally got the chance in 1983. Starting from there, he even hosted talk shows during his television career. Pat Sajak worked at a radio station before coming to television. Technically, his career on the radio started in 1968. Pat also appeared in a few television shows. In 1983, he did the role of Kevin Hathaway in NBC's television soap opera, Days of Our Lives. Sajak even wrote several puzzle games. No matter how much work he has done, his fame is because of the game show. He even broke the world record for having the longest career in a game show on May 8, 2019. The Wheel of Fortune has signed Pat Sajak as a host until 2022. Pat underwent surgery for a blocked intestine in November 2019. He had severe pain in the stomach that led him to the hospital bed. During his absence, his co-host Vanna White hosted the show. Pat retook the responsibility upon returning after recovery. Despite having a possible famous lifestyle, Sherrill Sajak amazes everyone with such a low-key life. Sherrill's educational background is unknown. Along with that, her career endeavors are a mystery, too. The fame she received also was only because of her ex-husband. What she did for a living following the end of her marriage was successfully hidden. But we assume that Sherrill was an independent woman who led her life respectfully. As of 2020, like any other information about Sherrill's personal life, her net worth details are also off the record. Aside from that, no settlement facts from her divorce back in 1986 is on the internet. Her ex-husband is, however, one of the wealthiest game show hosts. He holds an attractive fortune of $70 million as per Celebrity Net Worth. Pat earns around $15 million annually. He lives in Severna Park, Maryland. He also has a second home in Los Angeles, California. Well, Sherrill did not indulge herself in any kind of controversial event. Even her divorce went unnoticed. A life without any sort of controversies and conflicts is not very common among celebrities and their spouses. But Sherrill Sajak is different. Her privacy is one of the main reasons we can tell she is different. 75-year-old Sherrill Sajak is away from social media as well. Regardless of age, people enjoy the benefits of social media these days. But Sherrill is not fond of the internet world. So, she is away from it. It is also one of the significant facts that make Sherrill different from others. Not only is she not available on social media, but the internet also does not have the latest information and pictures of her. Well, this is all we could find about Sherrill Sajak. If you guys have anything more to add, we will be happy to hear from you.